I've learned sometimes in life things can get in the way. Maybe they might need to pause a recording once or twice or a couple times. But Brandon, finally, life has brought us all together, and we're going to be tasting some, hopefully, a very delicious bourbon. And I think we're in store for a fun one. What do you think, Brandon? You doing good?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am good. I am good. I'm a little tired.
Yeah.
Trying to
You're,
multitask between kids, job,
you're,
master's degree, and a podcast. I might have
As I say,
overdone it.
you went back to school. You're a full time student, full time dad. Yeah, a full time adult. So yeah,
Well,
so yeah.
we'll see about the adult part, but
Oh, that's true.
having a drink of something every now and then helps it, and I think
Yeah,
we should do a flight night tonight, and
I'm
we have
I'm
a
excited for
cool
this one.
guest. He's from the great state of New York, is where they're based out of, and that is Finger Lakes Distilling. He's the head distiller there. Let's welcome in Collin McConville.
Hey there, guys.
Welcome.
Nice to be on. Appreciate you bringing me in. And as you said, finally getting a chance to sit down and do this after many months of planning and a lot of scheduling conflicts and things like that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
So are
Well, we're
we. And did
excited
I
to
say
have
your
you. We're
name?
excited to try the juice.
And did I say the name correctly when it all mattered?
You did.
Yeah,
You got it. You
Good,
got it.
good, good.
killed it. Killed it.
Well, as
You,
Brandon can attest, and I can, my wife
those
as well. I have a way with words, and
those
they don't
master's
always go
classes
well.
are really paying off for you.
And does this get better after every drink during the flight night, or is this something that'll steadily get worse? I think.
It could go
I
one. It
mean,
could go either way. It just depends on
Fair enough. It's a crapshoot.
how.
We'll see
it
where it ends up.
goes. Yep,
and
it can go off a cliff real quick, but
and and the good news, Brandon, I'm not doing words with my masters. It's all numbers, and I'm even more confused. So,
oh yeah, math is hard, man. Math's hard. So
oh,
yeah,
but
good luck with that.
yeah. But you know what's not hard? Trying bourbon, and we've got from Finger
Oh,
Lakes. We got a little McKenzie straight bourbon because I figure we should just hop right into this. What can you tell us, Colin, about this guy? It's a let's see, 91 proof. See, I can do math. 45.5%, 91 proof.
It also says
Um,
91 right on the neck tag up here.
there,
Big old
yes,
numbers right there.
big numbers there.
yeah,
Don't give
there is
away
a
my
big
secrets.
difference. I mean, there is what you call fun math, so
Fair.
you could do that.
And
I
kind
do
of
that, John.
unnecessary math. It's still funny that we use proof in this thing that it's kind of irrelevant now. We don't need to light it on fire or whatever it was to make sure that it is, in fact, that alcohol content anymore. But, we still use it. It's a holdover for whatever reason. But yeah, we got our straight bourbon. Everything, all the grain that's in it comes from our local farmers. We've been in production now for over 15 years, so we have a nice rick house, nice aging stock. This one was a blend of this batch that we sent you guys. I think was a blend of a 4-year-old and 6-year-old bourbon. So we're always kind of trying to keep a pretty consistent profile. So we're always putting a little bit of the older stuff in there with the newer stuff to try and keep it kind of complex, smooth, nice, and consistent.
Well, and it says it's a
But
high rye bourbon too, so that's right up Brandon and I's alley.
for sure,
Yeah, absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's 70 20 10. 70% corn, 20% rye, and 10% malted barley. We work with a local malt house. So one of the advantages of being in New York State is New York State has a lot of breweries, wineries, distilleries. So we have a really good infrastructure that's built up around those things. So we work with a small malt house right up the road, about 45 minutes north of us in Canandaigua, New York. They get all local grain, malt it right there. They'll do whatever we want. We've done some really cool experiments and stuff with them over time where we're just like, hey, we have this weird thing. What can you guys do with it? And they're like, well, let's malt it and see what we can do with it.
Yeah, I like it.
The nose is fantastic.
Nose is really good.
Yeah,
It's really kind of subtle too. It's like a softer nose, if you will. If I don't know if that's the thing, but um,
yeah.
for me, I think it's a little softer, but it's a little, I don't know, a little fruity with
I always
sweetness on the
appreciate the
front.
viscosity. I think that
Yep,
it's definitely got some really nice legs to it. It's got a great mouthfeel. I
yep.
think uh, this is definitely one of the ones that I usually have sitting on my shelf and share with friends and stuff like that for sure. It's nice. nice, easy drinking. And bourbon, I mean, bourbon's still king in American whiskey, so it definitely goes a long way
Absolutely.
in kind of introducing people to our products and getting them to try it and keeps them in their comfort zone to start with.
No, yeah, for real. So tell us a little bit about your, how did you get into the alcohol business, distilling business? Like, just maybe just a little bit about your background.
For sure.
I just had you, we talked a little bit before we went online here, but just kind of give us a rundown on how that came to be.
Yeah, so I got out of college with a degree in history and a minor in philosophy, which means I was really good at drinking,
Right on.
but maybe
Yep.
not so good at making it.
Yep.
And as I was going for a master's degree, I started working at one of the first, it was the fourth distillery in New York State, just in the tasting room. And I worked there for about 3 or 4 years, kind of started in the tasting room, learned how to clean tanks and fill bottles, and then eventually learned how to start distilling and stuff. Decided that I wanted that to be my career instead of what I was going for, which was political science related, and kind of jumped in full fledged at that point. Joined another distillery, worked there for 10 years doing a lot of fruit based stuff. We were doing apple brandies and pear brandies and things like that. And then, unfortunately, during the COVID years, they kind of had to close. So, ended up at Finger Lakes Distilling, and I've been here for the past couple 3 years, kind of honing my skill, jumping into bourbons and ryes and rum and single malt and things like that, and taking everything to that next step. And really enjoying my time. Like I said, kind of coming from the fruit based stuff, jumping into the grain based stuff. A little bit of a different beast, but definitely great pedigree there. Finger Lakes Distilling's been open for more than 15 years now, so it was nice to kind of hit the ground running and be able to work with some of the guys that have been there for 10 plus years, Chris and John, and look through the brick house and kind of bring my own touch to things as well. So it's been a great experience so far.
Very nice.
Well,
Very
it's
nice.
pretty cool to see when everyone hears craft or kind of, maybe it's not a name that they've heard before. They think, they haven't been around that long. But 15 years it's a long time in the bourbon game for the startups. Obviously, the legacy brands that have been around for a long time, that's a little different. But I mean, that means you guys have been able to put some stock away, different things like
Yeah.
that. So obviously, I know the other job went away, and Finger Lakes was where you were able to head to. But what drew you to wanting to go to a place like Finger Lakes, and them having the McKenzie brand and different things like that?
Well, I had known them. So Finger Lakes was actually, I think, the second or third distillery that opened in New York State. So they opened right around the same time when I got into the industry. So I've known the team there for a long time. I've known the owner, Brian McKenzie, for a very long time, and I've known their past distillers as well. So they just we had a good friendship, and it was just things kind of lined up. The distiller before me, the previous distiller, wanted to go back into education. He has a penchant for teaching chemistry and things like that. So I was looking at the exact same time as he was kind of looking to get out of it, and we had some good conversations and stuff. And it was a nice, smooth transition into it. And I got to start working with people that I had respected for 10 or 15 years. And then all of a sudden I'm on the team and I'm able to kind of, like I said, bring uh, uh, my own expertise and my own knowledge to the team and hit the ground running.
I like it. This, to me, this drink's hotter, spicier than 91 proof for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Which to me, I think, if I'm saying that, just it's 99% of the time, that's a compliment. So this is a compliment. So for me, just because um, I prefer my bourbon, my whiskeys on the higher proof side, 100, 110, 115, 120 barrel proof. Love all
Yeah.
that stuff. I try it my alley. But this drinks, it has a flavor profile to me, a deeper flavor of a 105 or 110 to me.
Yeah.
To me,
I,
that's very good, very good.
yeah. I
So
think part of that might be we actually barrel all of our stuff at around 100 proof,
yeah.
either 100 or 102 proof if it's our bottle and bond stuff.
Hmm.
So when we cut it, we do very little cutting, and I think that brings a lot more of that flavor and a little bit more of that heat and stuff to the final product. It definitely keeps it a little more round, a little more flavorful, a little more chutzpah to it.
And it's very well balanced because you get that good mouthfeel of it. It doesn't leave you with that that dryness that some bourbons or whiskey can do. I really like how I get a little subtle sweetness, then you get a little hit of the spice, and then it kind of finishes with a little sweetness and spice. Honestly, like it just kind of does it just rides that little that straight wave of that sweet spice. It doesn't finish too strong, doesn't give you that big Kentucky blanket hug, but I think it's very well done. I think I can see why this would be on anybody's shelf. Easy drinker, easy sipper, especially come home after a hard work day during the week, a class, or trying to get your master's degree or whatever it is. Or if you're trying to be a philosopher, aspiring philosopher, this would be it would be a good one. So yeah, I like it.
It definitely has that the rye comes through very nicely, but like Brandon said, it's got that balance where it's not like overly heat. It's more of an actual true spice for me, and I'm enjoying this one. Is why I went back to have a little second pour.
Yeah, nice. I like it. So, go ahead, John.
I was going to let you go. I didn't want to step on your toes here.
I thought I interrupted you. No, you're good.
Nope.
So, you want to move to the second pour?
We can. I mean, I think this is in our wheelhouse because as one that listens to this show knows, we love a good high rye bourbon, but we really love
rye.
There you go.
Rye.
Yeah. So this one, our bottle and bond tends to be the stuff that's been around a lot longer. So this one was actually all 8-year-old rye. So it says, I think it says 4 on the label, but because that's the minimum. But this batch was all 8-year-old, and we're actually getting ready to do the next batch of this, which is the same cohort, just 6 months older. So it'll actually be about 9 years old, close to 9 years old.
Yeah, this says aged on the bottle. Just for those who are wondering, it minimum age is 6 years.
Oh, okay, 6 years. I apologize.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I just make the stuff. Somebody else takes care of putting the labels on it and stuff.
Yeah, you're just a head distiller, right?
Yeah.
Hey, he knows what's in it. He doesn't,
I can tell you the barrels that went in it.
I mean,
Yeah, right.
But that's impressive, though. An at least 6-year bottled and bond, and then you said, obviously this is higher than that. An 8-year bottled and bond rye. You don't hear about that ever. I feel like.
Right. I think rye was one of the things that very early on, Finger Lakes did a good job of coming up with a very good recipe and a very good process for. So it's actually something, at least locally, that we've been known for a while, is our ryes. So over the years, we put a fair amount of that away, and that has allowed us to get some older stuff. So we've been doing recently we've been doing some single barrels that are 9, approaching 10 years and things like that for the ryes. So that's exciting. And rye bourbon is still king in the American whiskey world. So rye definitely doesn't sell quite as quickly. But that does allow us to put a little more age on it and to put it in the bottle at 8 years instead of 6 years for something like this.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people get scared of rye too. That's not really, well versed in it or well traveled in as far as drinking it and tasting it.
Now, and I think that's unfortunate that a lot of people see it as just like a mixer for their their Manhattans or whatever. I love drinking rye. I think that was definitely one thing that I've always enjoyed from Finger Lakes, and I was so glad when I was able to come on and kind of take the helm for it.
Yeah, and a lot of folks too get they either talk to their their friends and whoever it may be that's influencing their bourbon bar at home, but they get scared off by the spiciness of it. They say, well, I get too much spice and things like that. But I don't know if I'm just weird or different, but I get sweetness a lot of times from rye. I can still taste that little peppery spice from it, but again, I don't know. My initial thing when I drink rye, and I guess that's why I gravitate to it all the time, is because I think it has more flavor. I know distillation is harder on it. It's harder to do. It's harder to get right. Um, and then, if it's done right, it's more, like I said, more flavor, sweetness. Um, so
Yeah.
I always enjoy it.
And Brandon, you are weird, but not because of this, and
Yeah.
different.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I just wanted you to know that.
Well,
Yeah, I think I always kind of laugh when people say that they're kind of scared to taste rye because it's too spicy and things like that. And then a lot of those same people will turn around and have some of these hazmat bourbons and stuff like that are
yeah.
like 130 proof, and they're like, "Oh, I love it at the 130 proof." And it's like, okay, you should really give rye a try because it's a
Yep.
very different kind of burn and spice. Like this is more of that, like, to me, it's more of that like baking
Yep.
spice, that dryness um, that I
Correct.
really enjoy, and I've always loved rye. So,
Same. Same.
and the mash bill
And
on this one is 80-20, 80% rye, 20% malted barley.
Nice. Like that.
I was gonna say, the nose is definitely. I mean, obviously you can tell we've had two different products.
Yep.
Um,
They're
but
definitely
I'm glad to hear
noticeably
that
different.
that everything
yes,
doesn't taste the same going down the
Yeah.
line.
yeah,
That's always that's what we aim for.
Yep.
I can't wait for the pot still because that's gonna be totally different.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
But Brandon, what are you thinking of this one so far?
So I obviously I like it. But like you said, it is a different nose, completely different nose. Like, I mean, night and day. And you do get still get that good mouthfeel on it. I get, I get more of the spiciness, the pepperiness on the back end. Like when that first hits, the first part, I just get a big pop of sweetness for me.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Um, and then it kind of mellows on out, and then it finishes kind of strong with that rye spice at the very end. And then that probably attributes too to a little bit of the higher proof. Obviously, it's 100 proof.
yeah.
Again, I think it drinks spicier and hotter than the 100 proof, in my opinion. Um, you know, I could have blind taste tested me, and I said, man, this is like 115, 110. But I think it's very well done. I think it's well balanced. But again, coming from a rye lover like myself, so and again, bottled and bond. Like, I mean, you've set a bottled and bond rye or anything bottled and bond in front of me, but most importantly, a bottled and bond rye that's at least 6 years old, then you're gonna have. I mean, you're gonna have a hard time to not get me to like it. So, um,
Yeah, because it's got it. You're thinking rye, 100 proof, that 8 year. You're thinking it's going to come in with a ton of heat, and it really comes in very smooth, and then you eventually get the those baking spices, like you said, on the back end. It's kind of a different thought. What I originally thought was probably going to happen didn't happen, and I was pleasantly surprised by that because it's super flavorful, and I mean, just a delight.
yeah,
What I like
no,
about this one is you don't get the heat in your mouth or like the back of your palate. To me, at least, you get it more as it kind of goes down. You get that warmth through your chest, like it warms you up here, which is a much more pleasant than like, oh no, the back of my throat's burning. Like, it's nice to have that kind of warmth in your chest, and that's what I've always gotten with this.
yeah, absolutely. I was, like when when I got that spice, it just kind of like just went to just a soft hug, like it was, I said, it
I
wasn't
don't know. Do,
overbearing,
do do New
overpowerful.
Yorkers give soft hugs? I don't feel like that would be a New York thing. Maybe in the
Depends on where
country.
you are in New York. It depends on where you
Yeah,
are in New York. I mean,
we'll say
you come
depends.
out to central or western New York, and we're definitely a little more warm and fuzzy. Um, I mean, we got the Buffalo
Yeah,
Bills. We've had a lot of heartbreak over the years, so uh,
yeah,
we're definitely a little more warm and fuzzy because of that.
nice. Well, speaking of New
Uh,
York, like what? what tell us, what kind of obstacles do you guys, face up there as a craft distillery, or even like, not even obstacles, just say it's like, so it's just things that you guys, that you're lucky and fortunate to have around you as far as resources, when it comes to, craft distilling.
Yeah, I think in general, I would say that we're relatively lucky.
Yeah.
About 20 years ago, New York State really realized how much money the alcohol industry brought to the state, and that was largely through the wineries and stuff. I mean, we have the Finger Lakes, Long Island, a bunch of other winemaking regions, and they kind of turned that into a much larger industry by supporting us by creating like the farm distillery license, which is what we hold, and it means we have to use a majority New York State goods, but it does give us advantages. It makes the licensing a lot more straightforward. And they've given us resources like New York State actually realized it was such a big industry that they created a special office that is called the One Stop Shop, and it's literally just a guy that sits there and gives you all the answers that you need when you're trying to get your licensing, when you're worrying about label approvals, when you're doing all this stuff within the state. So, in general, I think New York State's done a great job of supporting the industry and listening to what the industry needs. And to a certain extent, it can be difficult for the resources. I mean, having consistent grain crops and hops and things like that are all very weather dependent, and that can prove difficult sometimes. But over the years, we've developed some really good partnerships. I mean, all the grain that we use, barring some specialty malts, like when we do a single malt, we get a little bit of peated malt from Scotland. Everything comes from within 20 miles of the distillery. So we're working with guys that we've worked with now for 10 or 15 years that are willing to kind of take a chance with us and put some weird things in the ground and things. And we've been lucky enough to develop really good relationships over the years. And I think that's in part because it is such an important industry to New York State, but also because we're all there to support each other. We're all there to help each other out because we realize a rising tide lifts all boats. Like if other distilleries come to us and want to talk to us about things, we'll talk to them. We'll give them the resources that we have and stuff because we want people to enjoy what they're drinking in New York.
I love that, and I'm guessing that kind of leads to another thought that we had, because you guys are, like you said, using so many ingredients from the region, from the state. Makes sense when
Yeah.
the Farm Distillery Bill kind of says, hey, if you want the lightning lane over here, you
Yeah.
gotta play by some certain rules. But I mean, what does I mean, terroir and things like that? Yeah, I get it. Can do some different things. But
Oof.
what's it like using ingredients from New York and things like that? And like Brandon said, is there ever some things that just don't work well up there that you can't do, or are you guys kind of able to really have a good selection?
Um, I think there are certain things that are easier to get a hold of. We have a fairly well developed agricultural industry, so if you want basic things like certain corns and rye and things like that, that's very easy to get a hold of. I think there is a little bit of pushback from some of the farmers and things when you try to get into some of these specialty grains. You start pulling out these like spelt or some of these older malts and things like that. There's a little more trepidation there because a lot of the farmers have been doing this. It's been in the family for generations, and they're like, nope, this is the corn we plant. This is the malt we plant. This is what we're going to do. But like I said, we've been lucky enough that we've worked with some of the same people for a very long time. So when we're like, hey, we have access to this old rye from 100 years ago that somebody's been able to put together. Would you plant a couple acres for us? We've been lucky enough. They're like, yeah, we can do that. We can see what we can do, and doesn't always turn out great. I mean, we've definitely struck out a couple times with various things we've tried to make over the years, but it's always a learning experience. You always get something out of it, and hopefully continue to grow from it.
Yeah. I mean, uh, and like you mentioned, like you talked to different distillers or different farmers about trying to get into those you know rare grains or whatever it is. We talked to another distiller not long ago, and there's they got into the intricacies of it. It's like when somebody says, "Well, we got rye," well, there's all these different
What kind of
strains,
rye?
and what
Yeah.
kind of rye are you using, right? So
Yeah.
they got into it. It's like, well, somebody says it's 80-20. Well, my 80-20 might be different from your 80-20. Just depending
Yeah.
on which way you go. So, it's very
Well, because some
interesting
people
that.
just don't even like to tell us that it's 80-20, and we're like,
Correct.
I,
Well,
don't, I
that's
mean,
true.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to reverse engineer
Or,
this that well.
Right. Exactly. Because we like
and
to.
so and sometimes they may kind of guesstimate their 80-20,
Yeah.
which is it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. That's their prerogative. But it's very interesting to hear all that hands-on insider info like that because it's something I would have never thought about. I'm sure John probably would never even thought about it just as a general consumer walking into a store to buy a bottle of bourbon.
Yeah.
But we're fortunate that we can deep dive into that and give the fans, give the audience that kind of insight on it because there's a lot that can go into it. It ain't just a lot more goes into it, and you just walk in the store, buy a bottle off the shelf, and go drink it. So
Yeah.
I mean, that still works.
I think that does for sure. I
oh yeah,
think
for sure.
it's one of those things that yeah, I think you're absolutely right that just like biting into one kind of apple versus another, there can be a huge difference there. It's the same thing with the grains. It's not this monolith. Like, yeah, there's certain varietals that most farmers will grow for their cows or for whatever
Right.
for their grain products that they mill into to whatever they mill it into.
Right.
So it definitely does take some research and some time to kind of sit down and to think into those things and to see what the differences are between those grains.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of R&D. So it's a lot of
That's the
a
fun
lot of,
part.
that is the fun part.
I love what
That's
I
the
do
fun
for a
part.
living, but the R&D is definitely the part that can be the most fun. Um,
Yeah.
half of it is just from my history background. Half of it is just trying to find the things that they used to use 100 years ago or something like that, because I always like to try and kind of bring some of that into it and recreate old recipes or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I
That's
was going to
cool.
say, I mean, being able to keep going down the rabbit hole and the rye, going back to it, it's such a tasty pour, and it's got to me the more I have it, maybe a smidge
Oh,
funk on it for me, and I'm digging it. It's got a
Yeah.
little it hits a little different there.
yeah.
I feel like the straight bourbon was, as Brandon likes to say, it's a fastball. You kind of each sip was very similar. You kind of had that little roller coaster ride, but I don't know, the rye's got me thinking, and that's a dangerous thing.
Yeah. Yeah, don't get too serious there. That thinking. So
I'm not going to go
I
into
do
the
enough of that for
philosophy
your
realm.
master's
We're
degree
talking
and
to
things. You don't need to do it while you're on a podcast too.
no, and I got a guy that's got history and philosophy. I would lose any battle. We're not we're not going there. But Collin, you
That was
talked
many
about
moons past. That was many moons past.
well, and you talk about your current role where you get to do that R&D and things like that. So what does the quote unquote head distiller get to do these days, and what fun do you get to have?
Uh, yeah. The short answer is, like I said, R&D is the fun part. It's we have a really nice established protocols and things. We've developed over the last 15 years that we follow for a lot of our normal products. So there is a lot of that day-to-day stuff that we do. Um, there's the less fun portion of my job, which is things like ordering and compliance and paying taxes and things like that, making sure all that's taken care of. But the fun side of it is sometimes we'll just get random phone calls from somebody that maybe put a new crop, like a small organic farm that put a new cover crop in and says, "Hey, we have 10 acres of this organic whatever rye or whatever that we planted. Can you guys do something with it? Because we don't want to just cut it down and let it sit in the field. Can you do something with it?" And that's really where the fun comes in. Recently, we were approached by somebody that has a bunch of garbanzo beans that they want to see if we can turn into alcohol. And we get a lot of weird stuff like that where people are just like, "Hey, I have a lot of this crop. Can you do something with it?" And if it has sugar or starch in it, yeah, we can do something with it. So it may not always be viable. I mean, in the past, I've tried to make some stuff out of purple potatoes, and it was fine. Potatoes are very difficult to process just because they're like little rocks that you have to grind up and add all these things to. But it's always the challenge of it is the fun part to see like, okay, I know on a scientific level or on a hypothetical level, this is possible. Now let's actually do it. Let's try to see if it is not only possible but doable and replicatable.
Very cool. That's awesome. What was, speaking of garbanzo beans, chickpeas, whatever,
Chickpeas,
they,
yeah.
what was it that we had that one time, John? The aquafaba, is that what it is? Ain't
Yeah,
that made from garbanzo beans and chickpeas? I know it's not alcohol, but it's whatever. It's helped
something
for
like that because
cocktails,
it's
I think. It's like a
yeah,
foam or I don't know what it is.
I think
yeah.
isn't
It
that the
takes the
stuff that's in like the can of chickpeas that you get that you can use as an egg white
Maybe,
substitute? I
that's
maybe,
what
think
I
it's
was going
yeah,
to
supposed to
say.
be
It's
known
yeah.
as an egg white
But
substitute.
they, yeah, but they,
for your whiskey
that is,
sours.
that's right. That's right. I think
Just use egg white
I agree. Unless there's something in your diet that prevents you from eating egg whites. But,
for sure.
uh,
But if you can do
yeah,
it, I mean, the alcohol in there, eggs are safe these days. You don't have to worry about any
yeah,
problems. I know
yeah,
some people
yeah,
get interesting with that, but
yeah.
um, I mean, you're not going to beat the foam on a little bit of egg white in your sour.
Oh, no,
But Brandon, you are correct.
absolutely.
That is the liquid from cooked or canned chickpeas. There you go. Look at you.
Hey, man, coming in with some master's degree knowledge. Yeah, like it. Here for it.
Oh, I love it. Now, so we've had a straight bourbon, we've had a bottled and bond whiskey. We are going to go what's probably going to be slightly different than any of those. It's a whiskey, but it's a pure pot still whiskey.
It
Yep.
is.
McKenzie, 80 proof. Brandon, you want to show that lovely little bottle there?
Yes, sir. Yep. 80 proof, pure pot still whiskey, distilled from barley and oat mash. Is that
That's correct. Yeah,
that's what the bottle claims, and then at least 4 years
correct. Yep.
in American
This
oak.
one is
So
it's
what is this crazy
80%
thing?
80% barley, 15% malted barley, and 5% oats.
Wow.
So the oats
I
are just
don't.
there to give it a little bit of mouthfeel, a little bit of depth, and
Yeah.
to make the distillation more difficult because oats are a nightmare to try and distill.
Uh,
Um,
I can
but
see that.
it's a product that kind of came about years ago. It has a really nice following. What I like about it and why I want to actually finish this flight with this is it is a little bit lighter and it does work well as like a digestif, like an after dinner drink.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
little bit more approachable, a little bit sweeter, lower proof, so it just drinks a little bit nicer, a little bit
Yeah.
easier.
That makes sense with the oats. The oats distilled in it. But I will say, obviously, the light and color of it, but it has a really good. I don't know if everybody can see it or not. Probably not. But I have a white background. But the viscosity of it and the legs on this thing is, I mean, it's actually kind of impressive, honestly.
Sorry, I hope you
Like,
don't mind. My cat will be joining us for the rest of this, I believe.
hey, listen, we're
It,
full family show, pets, kids, whatever you want. Like we're there
I
for
was
it.
going to say the reason I got up earlier, for those that were wondering, is because the cat figured out how to get in, or I didn't close the door very well. And our cat here is a wild child kitten that is 7 months old and will destroy anything. So didn't need to be
It's.
around bourbon.
No, no, but no,
I think that
this
one's
is
about to go chase his the other cat that we have, so I will not see him
All
again for the rest of the night.
right, so clearly, I said it before with the rye, we had a totally different product. We have another
Yes, I
totally
tried to
different
send
product.
three very different things that kind of represent the breadth of what we do at Finger Lakes Distilling, for sure.
well, you
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 succeeded.
nailed it because this nose is. I don't know what I'm getting on this.
I generally get I get a little bit of the oat, even though the oat is only about 5%. Kind of that like dry oatiness,
Yeah,
maybe bordering on vanilla almost.
I almost said that, and like the little bit of the oats, kind of like when you first open your box of oatmeal at home, like and you
Yeah,
get it out, kind of that kind of little whiff of it.
I can see
I
that.
could see that for sure. Kind of almost has like a Scotch smell nose to it, non-peated, of course,
yeah,
but it kind of gives that kind of vibes to it just a little bit. But
and
that's a
this
good
one's
thing.
always
I mean,
fun.
it's not bad.
this one's always fun to kind of blend up because we age it in a mix of 3 different barrels, and we usually try and whenever we bottle it, we put all those barrels together. So it's usually some of it goes into used bourbon barrels, some of it goes into used rye barrels, and some of it goes into new barrels. So
Okay.
we'll usually do equal parts of those 3 when we're trying to bottle it. So
Nice.
they give a lot more depth and character to the finished product. I think being able to mix kind of those 3 things into it.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
what I was
No.
expecting. That taste,
No.
There's a
gotta
lot
go
going
back
on
to
there for sure.
the well here. That's
No. It's definitely different for sure. I'm not gonna say I don't like it, uh, but I'll say it's interesting because it's just something I've never had before. Right? Um, Man, I just can't. Give me a minute.
It's light, it's sweet, um,
Hmm.
and it has a lot of people associate color with depth and complexity because they expect like new barrels to bring all those flavors to it. I think this one
Sure.
gets its depth and complexity not from that, but from kind of the different aging processes that it goes through.
that's
And
what I
I
was
think
gonna
this
say.
actually, go ahead.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
got so
it's
much
very.
more flavor than I was expecting, and I think that's what's throwing me off because these are not notes that I've ever written
Mm-mm.
down before. Like this is
No,
it definitely has more body than you like you said you would expect it at an 80 proof product.
for sure.
And 80 proof
Yeah,
that tends to be kind of a hay color as opposed to
correct.
that dark kind of amber color.
And the fact that it just like you said, that body of it, where it has that, the good leg, those uh, thick legs on the glass. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, like, huh? I don't
Well, I
know.
was gonna
I'm
say what
I'm spinning.
yeah
Mind
what
spinning.
made you guys want to do something like this? I mean, I know the pot still is kind of Irish inspired.
Right.
You got the unmalted, you got the malted, you got the oats, and like you said, oats might. People talk about rye being a pain in the butt compared to regular bourbon. Oats, you that's like you just like to punish yourself on,
That's why there's
doing
only
something.
5% oats, I guess. Looking back at some of the original notes, there were some attempts at higher levels of oats, but 5% ended up being kind of the sweet spot to bring the character without filling up the still too bad.
But I mean, why'd you guys want to do something like this? Because, like I said, it is such a different thing than what people are maybe used to getting.
Right.
I think it kind of came about as a challenge to ourselves to be able to come up with something that was full bodied, full flavored, um, in that kind of more Irish style. Um, and kind of on the back end of it, it also did give us more use for our used barrels. I think that's definitely part of it. Is that as a an American whiskey producer, we go through a lot of barrels and we're constantly looking for new ways to be able to utilize that. And I think that to a certain extent, that was not the primary driving force, but to a certain extent, that did play into this. Was hey, this gives us the ability to reuse them in a very unique and exciting way.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's definitely in the sustainability type of way too. Like you mentioned, that's pretty cool. I like it. Yeah, it is very different, and the more I'm sipping on it, the more I like it. Like it's just very light, but it's got a little funk to it, but it's got some sweetness to it, and it's got just yeah, it's
I
kind of
could see
Like I
why.
said,
fun.
try
Honestly, kind of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
try this
not
one for
not
dessert as a digestif after a meal.
yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't beat you up too bad. It's something that you can
yeah.
kind of sip, and it'll go
Hmm.
with a lot of desserts and things like that. I mean, especially with that kind of oaty, baked good
Yeah,
notes that you get on there. A little bit of like um, a little burnt sugar, things like that.
yeah.
I'm just
I
I'm
I
just
can see it.
impressed with the mouth feel because you know if you just look at the label, I know, Colin, I know you're just looking at what goes in. You're not looking at the label. But when you look at that label, I mean, to see an 80 proof, you have someone that doesn't really understand what they're looking at. They're like, that's just going to be weak. Then they see the color, they're like, but like as we've said earlier, it just keeps blowing my mind how it's not like the full juicy flavor that we get sometimes, Brand, but there's so much in there for an 80 proof that I'm very confused. My taste buds are confused, all in a good way,
Yeah.
because it's not often that we taste something and go, I don't get it, but I like it. And I
Right.
think that's where we're at on this
Yeah.
one.
Correct. Yeah. And also, what folks need to realize too, when they see the 80 proof and it scares them off, this isn't 80 proof bourbon. This is 80 proof whiskey. So it's like, you're not getting that deep amber color, and well, you're not supposed to, right? Like, that's not the intent of it. But man, yeah,
This
you
is one I would think would be fun to pull out to for you got someone that's like, I've had everything. Well, are you sure? Because I don't think you've had this, and I think it would be a fun one because it is unique, and
correct.
there's going to be those preconceived notions, and it's impressive.
Yep. I'm yeah, highly impressed. Um, yeah, good
This is
job, man.
definitely one of those products in our tasting room that does really well because people try it and
Right.
it's not something that they necessarily have on their radar. So when you go to a liquor store, you're not looking for something like this because a lot of people don't even
Yep.
have it in their vocabulary. Um,
Right.
but in our
Exactly.
tasting room, it does very well because it's just on some of the flights, and people will try and go, "Wow, I wouldn't have even expected something like that." Kind of like your guys' reaction, where it's like, "Wow, that's actually got a
Right.
lot going on for something that I didn't have the words to process when I first saw it."
Yeah. No, absolutely. And speaking of fun, because I referred to this as being a fun sip, fun pour. What can you tell us on air? Any future projects that you're excited about? Anything up and coming that you know, the locals, the fans, or anybody else, especially us, that could be maybe looking forward to in the future.
Yeah, we've been experimenting with a lot of different barrel finishes. I think as the industry at large has been doing,
Yep.
we've been a little more conservative with jumping into that. But we've recently released a couple double oaks, which have been very very popular and very good. We're doing our first maple syrup barrel finished one coming out soon. That'll be released in the tasting room probably in the next couple 3 weeks. And then every year, right around Black Friday, we try and release a 10-year-old.
Mhm.
So we have a couple of different options this year to do a 10-year-old. Last year we did a 10-year-old bourbon. This year we're looking at either maybe a grape brandy, we have a rye that we're looking at, or maybe an American single malt that we're going to be doing for that. So
Ooh.
the American single malt, if we decide to go in that direction, we actually have some that are 13 years old now. So that
Now,
might
is
we
the
might go even a little bit higher than 10.
is the Black Friday release, is that only available at the distillery, or can you get it on your website or um,
I don't
stores
have a
for
strong answer
distribution?
for that. I
Yeah.
think it may not be on the website, but you can probably call the tasting room. I know
Yeah.
we do distribute through different venues online to a number of different states,
Yeah.
and we actually have distribution in like 8 different states right now, as well as 3 different countries. So there's also a number of online retailers and stuff that you can get our products. So um, yeah, we're always trying to send out different single barrels. We work with a lot of different liquor stores throughout the country to try and do single barrels and send them out and get really fun stuff like that because I think to me that's one of the most fun aspects. That's the other part of the experimentation, the R&D that I was talking about earlier is
Right.
there's only so many materials that we have to work with in distilling. I mean, we're doing yeast, water, grain, some enzymes, and barrel,
Yeah.
and being able to finish in different barrels to bring out different flavors. Kind of is that other thing that we've added that the industry in general has added more so in the past. I mean, the Scotch industry's been doing it forever, but we've kind of added it to American whiskeys in the past. It's become much bigger in the past 5 or so years. And so, yeah, we're always trying to experiment with stuff like that and kind of get that out there and see what different flavors we can pull out.
Nice. Speaking of
Well,
the distillery itself, what can folks expect? I would love to come, do a road trip, John and I, and visit the distillery. But what can folks expect when they come to do a tour or just walk the grounds or whatever it may be? What what are those? What does that expectation look like?
Yeah, so we're right in the middle of the Finger Lakes, which is probably it was
Okay.
actually selected as one of the best wine growing regions in the world, or it has been several times. There's a lot of wineries and breweries around us, but for us ourselves, we do offer tours. We go right down to the Rick House. We go right into the nitty gritty. So, Rick House has like 2,500 barrels in it right now. Um, we have beautiful views of Seneca Lake, and we constantly have stuff that's really only available in the tasting room or if you know about it. So, like I said, we have a flight that's all just 10-year-old products right now. We're constantly pulling different different things out of our libraries that we've done for people over the years. So we always have like one flight in the tasting room that's just like, hey, we went down and got bored and pulled a couple bottles out of the library. So we have like a rum finished rye right now that's on one of our tasting flights and stuff like that. So there's always something fun to do at the tasting room.
that
Very
sounds
cool.
fantastic. We gotta, if we visit,
I,
we might have to
I
go see that library.
for real, for
The
real.
library is very nice. I mean, having been around as long as we have, we do have a very nice kind of backlog of stuff that we keep partially just so we can try things. Like I can go in there and be like, okay, we just got some Spelton. I've used that example earlier, but we got some Spelton. We have a couple whiskeys in the library that have been made with Spelt in the past, so I can try that and kind of see what the direction is and where it's going and stuff. So it's a really nice tool to have for ourselves. But like I said, it also gives us a really cool opportunity. Once that bottle's open, we're not going to then put it back in the library. It's like, okay, it's going to go up to the tasting room now, and we'll share that with other people and see what they think.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean
Very
that
nice.
the 10-year-old stuff that's on the flights. I mean the rum barrel finished rye. I mean, you're speaking our love language,
Uh,
and I love too. What we've tried tonight. It says at least 4 years or at least 6 years on everything, but everything's well older than that
yep.
for most things. I mean, what's it like to have that backlog? Like you said, you guys have been doing it for a long time in New York, and for a craft, quote unquote, craft distillery, been doing it for a good while. I mean, to be able to release things that have a solid age statement and could even be a higher age statement if you wanted to go deal with the TTB.
Yeah, I think it's a dream come true. It really is nice to be able to have that catalog to pull from, and not just because we can pull from it, but also because it gives us the ability to leave things. If we want to, if something's not ready, I don't have this imperative to bottle it regardless of how ready it is. I can say, okay, that's not ready yet. We're going to leave it for another couple of years, and we're not worried about like meeting our quotas or whatever else. Like it is very nice to be able to have that longevity and that level of quality that has preceded me and hopefully continues on well into the future, and to be able to have that ability to be consistent and to constantly pull stuff out that keeps that level of quality and age statement and everything else that we want.
It's impressive
Yeah.
and good pours
Thank you.
too. That didn't hurt either. There's some good pours.
No, no, it doesn't. Big fan. Big fan. I like
See,
it.
patience is a virtue. We waited. We waited.
For sure. Yeah, there
Sometimes
you
it was
go.
our life. Sometimes it was something else. But we finally had it happen. And man, like I said, not knowing what to expect with what you guys do up there, Colin. I know Brandon keeps an eye on things maybe a little closer than I do, and he this was one he kind of circled and pinpointed. And I must say, Brandon, good job on
Research.
the research and Colin, man, you guys are doing some fun things because it was
Yeah.
three different products. Yes, I know we did a bourbon, a rye, and a pot still whiskey, but all very good. And I feel like some places can do one thing really good, so to have three totally different products come out tasty and so different, it's just impressive, man.
Very, very well done. Like I love I just like the variety of it, the different complexities of everything. So yeah, I'm excited to try more.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can make a trip up there. Come come to visit you guys. So
We're making
I'm
a lot
excited.
of trips now. We're talking to too many good people,
Part of
and
it, man.
You guys got to get a bus and put your logo on the side of it, and
Yes,
just plan a trip up
yes,
at the coast and
yes,
across Middle
yes.
America and down the other coast, and there you go.
Yep, yep, absolutely. Anybody who wants to
you know,
sponsor that, we're open.
or just let us have a bus. I'd be okay with that too.
Whatever. Yeah, it's whatever. Yeah, we can
uh,
advertise to somebody.
that's true. And Colin, you mentioned that it's in 8 states, I believe, and you got some online, so folks can find it and have a few options to get their hands on some McKenzie products from Finger Lakes, right?
For sure. Yep. Yeah, we're in a lot of East Coast states. I mean, you expect New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, but we're in Kentucky, we're in
Yep.
California. Then we're the place that I'm trying as much as I can to push because I'd love to go there is Japan. They've surprisingly a couple
Nice.
of years ago we found a distributor over there, and I really want to go to Japan. So I keep trying to push that, and I keep leaving that bug in the owner's ear, like, hey, I
Yeah.
took Japanese in school. I can still say hello and my name is. That's a start.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can't get over there sometime.
I mean, a
Nice.
distiller series of some
Yeah.
dinners and some
Yeah.
pairings. I
Yeah.
mean,
There
I
you go.
could see it. I could see it.
hmm I can definitely see that. So, one quick question before we let you go, just because we do pride ourselves on transparency for our fans, and we try to get as much transparency out of whatever bottles or distilleries that we bring on and have. But can you tell us? Do you know the price points of each of the three variations that we had, just so that folks
Um,
can have an idea of it for the bourbon, the rye, and the pot still?
you got me on that one. I believe the pot still is usually the mid 30s, and
Okay.
then the bourbon is usually low 40s,
Okay.
and then I believe the bottle and bond should be high 40s,
See, I mean, see
somewhere
that,
around there.
and the reason
I
why
know
we asked
I'm gonna
that,
get a letter from our marketing
no,
person that tells me you should have had all of those answers exactly, but
no.
I believe
Sorry,
those are all the
I didn't
price
mean to
points.
put you on the spot like
No,
that,
you're
but
okay.
it's
You're
just.
okay for sure.
But we don't need a we don't need it down to the cents for sure. But we just
Yeah,
ballpark it, just so everybody knows that's watching and listening, and they can have an idea of what this what it costs. So because
for
that
sure.
goes kind of a big thing. But I mean, if you're talking 40, $50 for any of these three, that's and
That's a
especially if you're
damn good value.
yeah, I mean, that's all day. Like seriously, just something to put on the shelf,
I mean,
everyday drinker, pull it out of the holidays, whatever you want, special occasions, doesn't matter.
Nope, drink it all
That's
the
pretty
time.
good.
Not special occasion. Just drink it all the time, and just keep
Drink it
going
all the
back and
time. Yeah.
buying more of
Yep.
it. And
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
Every
for
day's
sure.
a new venture. Got it.
well,
I like it.
I mean, but to go back to the other question of obviously these are higher age stated. You know, I mean, then to have a price point that's approachable, well priced, because I feel like these products could go for more than that as well. I mean, how are you guys able to do that? I'm just not following. I'm just not following. You're making good products at a good price. This is weird. No one does that these days. Come on now.
Yeah, I think it's largely because we control the whole process. We've been working with the same people for a long time. It's the owner is the owner, and we don't have to kind of worry about a lot of other things that other distillers have to worry about because of that.
Well, I love it because that made me love it even more because it was already good on its own without knowing the price and knowing that I could get a couple bottles and put one back for when one goes away. That makes it even better. And Colin, I'm loving what you guys are doing up there, and I can't wait to see what R&D you come up with next that might be fun to try.
Okay,
Me
and I do
too.
have the prices here. I actually just
Oh,
looked them up. It's for the straight bourbon, and we also have a straight rye. It's 42, and the bottle and bonds are a little more than I thought. They're mid 50s.
Oh, that's
An 8-year mid-50s. I mean, how dare you? How dare you?
8-year bottle and bond. That's great. That's kind of that's silly. That's still good. So yeah,
I think he just didn't want to get that letter from marketing. I feel like that marketing's
Yeah, I had to look
twice.
up real quick for sure.
That's me. I wasn't here. We weren't here to get you in trouble. I promise.
It's not a letter. It's the guy that sits next to me. And tomorrow I would go in there and be like, "You don't get donuts today."
Well, that's kind of even worse. If you don't get donuts,
depending on the morning, it definitely can be for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah,
man, this has been a blast, man. I like I said, truly impressed with the juice that's in the bottles. I think even potentially slightly more impressed with the age statements and the pricing because of just how we see the industry at these days, and typically with those age statements. So kudos to you and the team up there at Finger Lakes.
Thank you. No, I appreciate you guys having us on, and hopefully we can get you that bus and get you out sometime. And there's definitely a lot of stuff to visit in the Finger Lakes and in New York in general. So I know Kentucky's still kind of got the name recognition in Tennessee and stuff like that, but we're making some great stuff up in New York, and definitely if you see it in the market, give it a try.
Absolutely, yeah, and we definitely would love to venture up. We'd love to travel, venture out. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and
cool.
Cheers.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm out.
Cheers.
It was so good. He's done.
I got a little bit in there. I got just enough.